Dear students, in this lecture series on alcohols, we were discussing chemical properties of alcohols, and today we will discuss about oxidation reactions of alcohols. So we will learn what are the different oxidizing agents that are available to oxidize alcohols, and what are the various products that we can get after oxidation of alcohols. But before discussing today's main topic, oxidation of alcohols, first let us learn about what oxidation is and what is the meaning of reduction in organic chemistry. This we have discussed many times earlier, but I thought let us again revise it so that we had no doubt. So if we talk about inorganic chemistry, then we think of oxidation as the loss of electrons and reduction as gain of electrons. So this is a redox chemistry. Basically you are all are aware about oxidation and reduction. So oxidation is the loss of electrons and reduction is gain of electrons. But in organic chemistry we don't deal with the charged species, so there are very few charged species. So in this case we think of oxidation as the result of adding some oxidizing agent. So if we add some oxidizing agent, then we say that the oxidation has occurred. So oxidizing agents like it can be a molecular oxygen, bromine, or some KMnO4, potassium dichromate. These are all oxidizing agents. So when we add these reagents, so we call them that oxidation will take place. On the other hand, reduction we say is the result of adding a reducing agent like hydrogen, molecular hydrogen, or sodium borohydride, lithium aluminum hydride, so that we discussed in synthesis of alcohols. So in short we can say that oxidation, we can classify oxidation as addition of oxygen or O2, or we can say loss of hydrogen. So these things will be called as oxidation. So if we have any organic compound, if we add oxygen atom or O2 molecule, or we remove hydrogen from that compound, then we will call it oxidation has occurred. Whereas reduction is reverse of oxidation, where it is addition of hydrogen or hydride H negative. That was in case of sodium borohydride. The overall reaction takes place by addition of hydride ions, or we can say loss of oxygen and O2. So basically oxidation and reduction, they are opposite to one another, whereas oxidation involves addition of O, reduction will involve removal of O. Oxidation will involve a loss of H2, reduction will involve addition of H2. So these are opposite to one another. So oxidation, it generally converts CH bonds to CO bonds. Let us see, suppose I have some this alkane. So I will try to see, now we will try to learn what happens. Now suppose if we add oxygen and we get this one of CH bond to CO bond, suppose this becomes the CO. So as it says, oxidation converts CH to CO. So this is your alkane plus oxygen. So this is, we will say oxidation has occurred. So this step is oxidation. So if we can further add oxygen, so it will this is COH, basically C oxygen had added COH. So RCOH OH H. Now from here these are unstable, this water will remove. So if we remove water minus water, so we get aldehydes. So the first product of oxidation of this primary alcohol, this is a primary alcohol, that will be an aldehyde, which can further be oxidized. It can again be oxidized. So this CH bond to CO bond, COOH, we can get carboxylic acid. So alkane will give primary alcohol. This is primary alcohol. This can be oxidized to aldehyde, which can further be oxidized to carboxylic acid. Now suppose if we have some this sort of alkane. So now if we add oxygen, so first we will get same COH RH. So this is secondary alcohol. Now this can be oxidized if we add oxygen, so it will become RCOH ROH. As I have said, the oxidation involves converting CH bonds to CO. So you can see here CH bond has been converted to CO bond. Now these are unstable. Water will be removed, minus water you will get RC double bond O R. So we will get ketones. So if you have a secondary alcohol, its oxidation will get ketone, and ketones they are they can be oxidized to carboxylic acid with difficulty. So we need very harsher oxidizing agents to convert ketones to carboxylic acids, and these reaction usually occur through cleavage of carbon-carbon bonds. So basically these bonds are broken if we further oxidize, and we need very harsh conditions. Then we will get RCOOH plus 1 carboxylic acid from this R group. Means ketones they are very generally very secondary alcohols will be converted to ketones, and ketones they are very difficult to oxidize to carboxylic acid. Now suppose if we have a tertiary type of situation, so R then if we add oxygen, then we will get tertiary alcohol. So all these steps are oxidation steps because oxygen is being added. So this is tertiary alcohol, so it is very difficult to oxidize. So we will learn there. So it is very difficult to oxidize tertiary alcohols because there are no carbon hydrogen bonds. Usually they occur again like ketones, they occur by cleavage of carbon carbon bond, and we get a number of mixture of products. So oxidation of tertiary alcohol is not important. Now if we move from alkanes to acids from left to right, it is called oxidation. Whereas if we reverse the path, exactly reverse the path in different direction, like from carboxylic acid to aldehyde, aldehyde to alcohol, alcohol to alkane, this will be called reduction. So as I said, oxidation and reduction, they are opposite reaction to one another. So this is oxidation and reduction, and today our main aim is to study oxidation of these alcohols. We will discuss oxidation of primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. So now let us first discuss oxidation of primary and secondary alcohols. Now as you might have seen from previous slides that basically alcohols they can be converted to aldehydes or ketones, and which can further be converted to carboxylic acids. Now these primary and secondary alcohols they are easily oxidized by variety of reagents. So what reagents which are used, including chromium oxides, basically oxides of chromium, they are used permanganate. So you can use this C2R2O7, potassium dichromate, H2CrO4, this is chromic acid, KMnO4 permanganate, CrO3 oxide of chromium, nitric acid, HNO3. These are some reagents that can be used to oxidize alcohols, and even household bleach, sodium hypochlorite, NaOCl, even it can be used to oxidize alcohols to different products. Now what are the products that depends upon nature of alcohols? Basically if we have to do oxidation at a very large scale, some industrial oxidation of some inexpensive alcohol, then we prefer cheap oxidants, because the products are not very expensive. So for large scale oxidation, for oxidation of inexpensive alcohols, cheap oxidants are preferable, they are used. But if we have to synthesize some specialized products, then we may use some expensive oxidants. And many of traditional oxidants generally they are based on chromium 6 compound, like this potassium dichromate, it is chromium 6. Chromic acid, its oxidation state of chromium is 6. So generally these oxidation in which chromium is in higher oxidation states, they can act as oxidizing agents. So potassium dichromate, chromic acid, and this your sodium dichromate, CrO3, in all these compounds chromium has highest oxidation state 6. So these acts as oxidizing agents, but the problem with the chromium reagents is that they are highly toxic. This chromium is a toxic metal, so they are highly toxic and they are difficult to dispose of properly. So after reaction 1, this has been this has done the oxidation, then it will be reduced. So this reduced species containing chromium, it is very difficult to dispose because it is highly toxic. So that's why chemists they are gradually moving to less toxic oxidants. So we have to also take into account the pollutant effects of the chemicals. Mostly these some chemicals they are toxic, so we should make some those processes in which we use some cheaper and less toxic reagents. So scientists they are working to generate new oxidizing agents which are less toxic. So that's why we have a variety of oxidizing agents. And the most characteristic feature of these oxidizing agents is that they have an element, maybe chromium, it may be a halogen, chlorine, iodine, or even manganese, or maybe sulfur. They are in high oxidation state bonded to oxygen, like this you can say CrO3, metal bonded to oxygen in high oxidation state, chromium bonded to oxygen in high oxidation state, manganese bonded to oxygen in high oxidation state, nitrogen in high oxidation state. So generally these oxidizing agents have some this characteristic that these metals, they are bonded to oxygen and they are in high oxidation state. And all these reagents, these oxidations, they have a similar mechanism. So I will try to show the mechanism, simple mechanism with the oxidation of some secondary alcohol with hypochlorous acid. Let us try to see what might occur during oxidation. Now suppose we have this alcohol, this is some secondary alcohol. Now if we add this your HOCl, first step is water removes and you get RCr HOCl. This is the first step of all this oxidation, even being it hypochlorous acid or it being potassium dichromate, it being chromic acid. So this will be the first step of these reactions. Now in the second step, this hydrogen, it will be removed by some base or even water. Water can be used to remove these reagents and this will be removed. So you will get RCr double bond O. This ketone, you can see alcohol has been oxidized, plus H3O positive plus Cl negative. So instead of water we can have any other base. Even water can solve the purpose to abstract this proton. So this is the general mechanism for all these oxidations. So they will occur like these steps. These alcohols, they will be oxidized to, as it was a secondary alcohol, so it has been oxidized to a ketone. If it would have been the primary alcohol, the product would have been the aldehyde. So that is the general mechanism. So now the secondary alcohols, they are easily oxidized to give excellent yield of ketones. As I have said you, these secondary alcohols, they are oxidized to ketones, and chromic acid reagent is often used for laboratory oxidation of secondary alcohols. So what is chromic acid reagent? So it can be K2Cr2O7 and sulfuric acid. If we add sulfuric acid to potassium dichromate or sodium dichromate, Na2Cr2O7, they will give you chromic acid, H2CrO4. This is your chromic acid. So basically these oxidizing agents, these are called chromic acid because these generate chromic acid, potassium dichromate and sulfuric acid. So it can be used to oxidize secondary alcohols to ketones. Like I can write some general equation, RCOHR. If we add K2Cr2O7 and sulfuric acid, which will generate your chromic acid, which will act as a oxidizing oxidant in this case. So you will get RC double bond OR, ketone. So even this cyclohexanol, if you suppose if we have cyclohexanol secondary alcohol, if we do its oxidation with the chromic acid reagent, what we will get? We will get cyclohexanone. So this will be the product. So that is how this oxidation occurs. So this is called potassium dichromate plus sulfuric acid. It generates chromic acid, which converts secondary alcohols to ketones. As I said, these ketones, they are very difficult to get further oxidized. So they can be done under very harsh conditions, and the reaction will take place through cleavage of this carbon-carbon bond. And oxidation of a primary alcohol, it initially forms a aldehyde. First a aldehyde is formed and that aldehyde is easily oxidized further to give you a carboxylic acid. So if instead of this secondary alcohol, if we have some primary alcohol like R CH2OH, then upon oxidation with this chromic acid reagent, it will generate RCHO, which will be further oxidized under same conditions, and your sulfuric acid, which will further oxidize too. So it is very difficult to stop oxidation at aldehyde stage. So we have specified reagents that can be used for oxidizing primary alcohols to aldehydes, that I will discuss later. So but if we do oxidation with these standard oxidizing agents like chromic acid based reagents, then the product that will be that we will obtain is carboxylic acid, because it is very difficult to stop oxidation at aldehyde stage, because they are further prone to oxidation to carboxylic acid. So whereas our secondary alcohols, they give ketones which are relatively difficult to further oxidize to carboxylic acid. We need harsher conditions, and reaction takes place through cleavage of carbon-carbon bond. Now, as I have said, chromic acid generally oxidizes a primary alcohol all the way to carboxylic acid. I have written a reaction here, so we have got carboxylic acid as the product. Now, a better reagent for the limited oxidation of primary alcohol to aldehyde is this is the reagent. Now, if we want to produce aldehyde from primary alcohol, then we have specialized reagents. So one such reagent is pyridinium chlorochromate, called PCC, which is a complex of chromium trioxide with pyridine and HCl. So let us see its structure. So this is your pyridine. This is your pyridine, NH positive, CrO3 Cl negative. So this is the structure of your PCC, pyridinium chlorochromate, which is obtained by reaction pyridine. So this is or we can also write it as CrO3 pyridine HCl. We can also write it like this. So this is the reagent PCC obtained by reacting pyridine with HCl and chromium trioxide. So this is your pyridine, this is HCl, this is chromium trioxide. So they will combine to give a reagent PCC. Now if we do oxidation with this reagent, we will get aldehyde. We will not get carboxylic acid, we will get aldehyde. So what I can do, I can erase this and I can show you in a better way. So in a bigger structure, that was quite small. So this is your pyridine, this is your chromium trioxide, this is your HCl. So generally they combine, it is written as this pyridine is a base, so it can obstruct a proton of HCl, CrO3 Cl negative. This is your PCC. And if we do oxidation with primary alcohol like RCH2OH with this PCC, oxidation with PCC, it will give you RCHO. We will get aldehyde. Now this will not be further oxidized to carboxylic acid. That is the beauty of doing oxidation with PCC. You have to remember the composition of PCC. It is a very important reagent. The generally PCC it oxidizes most primary alcohols to aldehydes in excellent yield, and the yield obtained is good as the further oxidation does not take place. And unlike other oxidants like chromic acid based reagents which are used in aqueous phase, PCC is soluble in non-polar solvents such as dichloromethane. Dichloromethane is a CH2Cl2. It is abbreviated as a DCM, dichloromethane. So it is a very good solvent for non-polar substances, which is excellent solvent for most organic compounds, and most organic compounds, they are non-polar. So PCC can be, the beauty of PCC is it can be used with dichloromethane. So that means those substances which are not soluble in aqueous solution, that can also be oxidized with PCC and dichloromethane, as these compounds are soluble in DCM, dichloromethane. That is the structure of DCM. And PCC can also serve as a mild reagent for oxidizing secondary alcohols to ketone. So primary alcohols, they are oxidized to aldehyde. So suppose if we have some secondary alcohol, that will be oxidized to ketone. So with this reagent, this secondary alcohol like this OH or H, if we do its oxidation, it will be converted to ketone. Oxidation with PCC and DCM. So aldehydes, they are alcohol, primary alcohols are converted to aldehydes, secondary alcohols, they are converted to ketones. So PCC is a good selective reagent. If we use do oxidation with chromic acid based reagents, then we will get carboxylic acid from primary alcohols. Now generally tertiary alcohols, they are resistant to oxidation. They are not oxidized quite easily. Why? Because oxidation of tertiary alcohol is not an important reaction in organic chemistry. Why? Because tertiary alcohols have no hydrogen atom on the carbinol carbon atom. Carbinol carbon atom means carbon having OH group. Let me write the structure of some tertiary alcohol. This is a tertiary butanol, the typical tertiary alcohol. Now you can see this carbinol carbon, it has no hydrogen. So oxidation must take place by breaking carbon carbon bond. So if we have to do its oxidation, it will occur by breaking either this bond or this bond. So these bonds will break, only then oxidation can take place. So if this breaks, to break these bonds, we need some severe conditions, and we get a mixture of products. So first of all, carbinol carbon has no hydrogen, so its oxidation is quite difficult. If it takes place, it will occur by cleavage of carbon carbon bonds. For that we require very harsh conditions, and we will get a mixture of products. So that's why this oxidation of tertiary alcohol is not so important reaction. So it is not done quite easily. But the chromic acid test, there is a name for test, chromic acid test, for primary and secondary alcohol. It uses the resistance of tertiary alcohol to oxidation to distinguish between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohol. So we have used this property of tertiary alcohols, as they are not easily oxidized. It has a basis of chromic acid test, which is used for the distinction of primary, secondary and tertiary alcohol. So basically, if we have either primary or a secondary alcohol, if we add a chromic acid reagent I have already told you, K2Cr2O7 and sulfuric acid or sodium dichromate. You can use either potassium dichromate or sodium dichromate. It has orange color. Now if we add this reagent to primary alcohol or secondary alcohol, on reacting with this chromic acid reagent, the orange color will change to green or blue. It will be changed either green or blue. We will get either green or blue color. But when a non-oxidizable substance such as tertiary alcohol, a ketone or an alkane is added to the reagent, no immediate color change occurs. The color remains orange. So that is how, by looking at the color, we can distinguish between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. Generally, primary and secondary alcohols on reaction with the chromic acid, the color will change to green or blue. But in case of tertiary alcohols, no such color change will take place immediately. So the solution will prefer to remain orange colored, as the color of the solution is orange. So that is the basis for this chromic acid test, which is used for distinguishing primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. In our previous lecture, we also did one other method, Lucas test, to distinguish between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. There are many other tests like Victor-Meyer test that can also be used to distinguish between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. Please go through that. Now instead of these reagents based on chromium, so far we have done chromium based oxidizing agents, be it PCC, be it potassium dichromate, be it chromic acid reagent. So in addition to these reagents, we have some other oxidizing agents that can also be used to oxidize alcohols. As I have already told you that chromium based reagents, they are toxic. So that's why we need some other reagents. So one such reagent is Collins reagent, which is also a chromium based reagent. So it is a complex of chromium trioxide and pyridine. So you have to remember this Collins reagent, CrO3 and pyridine. So pyridine, I have already shown you the structure of pyridine. Pyridine is an heterocyclic compound. So this is your pyridine. So complex of CrO3 and pyridine is called Collins reagent. That is also a good oxidizing agent, and that is the original version of pyridinium chlorochromate. In PCC we have one additional reagent, HCl, but if we don't have HCl, we will call it Collins reagent. Next is the Jones reagent. So it is a milder form of chromic acid in which a very dilute chromic acid in acetone. So Jones reagent is a very dilute chromic acid in acetone. You have to remember all these reagents. So what are the composition of these reagents, because these are generally used oxidizing agents. So sometimes we just tell them by name, like Collins reagent. So you should know what is the composition of this Collins reagent. So Jones reagent is a dilute chromic acid in acetone. Collins reagent is a chromium trioxide and pyridine complex. And other reagent, as I have told you, potassium permanganate and nitric acid. So KMnO4 is also a very good and very strong oxidizing agent, plus nitric acid. Even nitric acid is a very good oxidizing agent. So if it falls on your hand, it turns it to yellow, a brownish yellow color of your skin. So that is because of oxidation caused by nitric acid. So nitric acid is a very good oxidizing agent. And the advantage of using this KMnO4 and nitric acid is that they are less expensive than chromium reagents, and both of them give byproducts that are less environmentally hazardous than spent chromium reagents. Even their byproducts, they are toxic, but they are less toxic than chromium based byproducts. So that is the another advantage of using KMnO4 and nitric acid. They are hazardous, but they are less hazardous than chromium, so they are preferred. And this permanganate and nitric acid, they oxidize the secondary alcohols to ketones and primary alcohols to carboxylic acids. Now if we have this RCH2OH, any primary alcohol, if we add KMnO4 or this your nitric acid, the final product that we will get, first we will get aldehyde, then it will be converted to COOH. That means primary alcohol will directly be converted to carboxylic acid with KMnO4 or nitric acid, whereas your secondary alcohol, that on oxidation with KMnO4 or nitric acid, that will give you ketones, RC double bond OR. So that is the product for oxidation of secondary alcohol, that is product for oxidation of primary alcohol. So these are the products obtained when we oxidize primary and secondary alcohols with KMnO4 or nitric acid. So in addition to these oxidizing agents, we have some more oxidizing agents like Swern oxidation. Another oxidation process is Swern oxidation, and this uses dimethyl sulfoxide. Dimethyl sulfoxide is CH3 S double bond O CH3. This is dimethyl sulfoxide as the oxidizing agent to convert alcohols to ketones and aldehyde. Primary alcohols will be converted to aldehydes, secondary alcohols will be converted to ketones. And in this reaction, in Swern oxidation, we use dimethyl sulfoxide and oxalyl chloride. They are added to alcohol at low temperature. Then we have to add some hindered base such as triethylamine. Then we will get our desired aldehyde or ketone depending upon structure of alcohol. So this is our reaction. Suppose this is alcohol, this is your dimethyl sulfoxide, this is DMSO, this is your alcohol. Now this is your oxalyl chloride, this is oxalyl chloride. Then this is your hindered base triethylamine. Then it will give you this, it will be either aldehyde or ketone. Now it depends upon structure of alcohol. If it is a primary alcohol, we will get aldehyde. If it is a secondary alcohol, we will get ketone. Then we will get a dimethyl sulfide. This is dimethyl sulfide. Dimethyl sulfide, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide and hydrochloric acid gas. All these are gases. And as I have said, secondary alcohols, they are oxidized to ketones, and primary alcohols, they are oxidized to aldehyde. So we don't get carboxylic acid, so it is a milder oxidizing agent. And the advantage of using this reaction is the byproduct of this reaction are all volatile. This is gas, this is gas, and this is gas. So these are removed. This is even volatile. This is also volatile, dimethyl sulfide. So these are easily separated from organic products. So we can easily separate these and we can get pure aldehyde or ketone. That is the another advantage of using this Swern oxidation, which is done with the help of dimethyl sulfoxide and oxalyl chloride with the help of a hindered base. This base is triethylamine. We can use other bases also, but in this reaction we have used a very simple triethylamine base. So that is the Swern oxidation. So similar to that, we have one more reagent, one more oxidation, that is called Dess-Martin periodinane, which is called DMP. It is abbreviated as DMP, Dess-Martin periodinane reagent. So what does it? What is this oxidation? Let us see. So like Swern oxidation, DMP reagent, it oxidizes primary alcohols to aldehydes and secondary alcohols to ketones. So these are selective reagents. We don't get carboxylic acid. So and we also don't use chromium or other heavy metal compounds. Here you can see it has no chromium or no other heavy metal. Similarly, in this reagent we have no chromium or no heavy metal. So that this is your DMP reagent. This reagent is your DMP, Dess-Martin periodinane reagent. So it is an iodine compound. So this is your alcohol. This is a primary alcohol. With the DMP reagent you will get aldehyde. If it is secondary alcohol we will get ketone plus this, then plus acetic acid. So the reaction with the DMP takes place under mild conditions. So we require room temperature, neutral pH, and it gives excellent yields. The yield of this aldehyde is good, and DMP reagent which owes its oxidizing ability. Why it is an oxidizing agent? Because of high valence iodine atom. The valency of, as you can see, it is bonded to 5 atoms, 1 2 3 4 5. So its valency is very high. So it is also commercially available solid and can easily be stored. The advantage of this is that it is easily available commercially and it is a solid compound that can easily be stored. So and it also give excellent yield of aldehydes. So that is the advantage of using Dess-Martin periodinane reagent for oxidizing alcohols to aldehydes or ketones. Primary alcohols will give aldehydes, secondary alcohols will give ketones. So this is the oxidation with the Dess-Martin periodinane reagent. So this reagent is abbreviated as DMP. So now this was all about oxidation. Now we will see the action of hot copper on alcohols. Depending on the alcohol, whether it is primary, secondary or tertiary alcohols, we get different products. If we pass these alcohols to hot copper, we will get different products. Now let us try to see what are the products that will be obtained. Now suppose we have some primary alcohol. So now if we add, so let me have some other structure. So I need some chain here so that you can understand better. So this is your suppose let us see some ethanol, CH3, CH2, CH2OH. Now if we pass through it red hot copper, so hot copper means copper placed at 573 Kelvin, so around 300 degrees Celsius, very hot. So what we will get? We get one hydrogen will removed from here, one will be removed from here. You will get CH3, CH2, CH double bond O. So generally dehydrogenation, we call it a dehydrogenation, takes place with the primary alcohol. Dehydrogenation takes place and we get aldehyde. Suppose if we have some secondary alcohol, CHOH, this is a secondary alcohol. This on reaction with copper at 573 Kelvin, again dehydrogenation will take place, but now we will get this ketone. This is dehydrogenation. So both primary and secondary alcohols, they undergo dehydrogenation when they are passed through hot copper, but tertiary alcohols they react differently. So now I have to have some structure, then I can explain the product. So this is your tertiary alcohol. Upon passing through copper at 573 Kelvin. Now dehydration takes place. For tertiary alcohols, as there is no hydrogen on this carbon, so dehydration takes place. So we get CH3, CH3 double bond CH2 plus water. So OH from here, hydrogen from this carbon or this carbon, any carbon. So we get this alkene plus water. So dehydration takes place. So this method is also used to distinguish between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols, because primary and secondary alcohols, they undergo dehydrogenation when they are passed through hot copper, whereas tertiary alcohol, it undergo dehydration, removal of water to give you alkane. So that's how you can distinguish between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohol. So that was all for today regarding oxidation of alcohols, that we will once again discuss when we will discuss aldehydes, because these are also the method of synthesis of aldehydes and ketones. So thank you very much. Please don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you very much.